Progress.
And I am with Uzu here on the navigation. And yes, it is the time to hear this lovely lady here, what she's got to tell us. Zoo, welcome back, girl.
My darling Z, the lovely Z. Oh my God. Hello. It's so beautiful. You're so beautiful. You have a beautiful smile. I used to think I have a beautiful smile until I met you. So I'll give it to you.
And yet, you got that smile. You got that smile, girl. You are just beautiful. I was actually saying it, complimenting you to someone. And I was like, yo, this girl is beautiful. This girl, she's beautiful.
Thank you
Stunning.
so much.
You are beautiful, my darling.
Thank you so much.
So, Zoo, today
I'm excited to be back.
I'm happy to have you back. Today we are talking about, our topic is from hell and back, né? And we are talking about your experiences and how they have built you to who you are. So take us towards the time when you started, the challenges. Let me put it that way. Let me rephrase the challenges that you've encountered as a writer, and let's take it there so that we can start, looking into what has molded you to become who you are now.
Ozzy, thank you so much for the chance. And I'd like to take this opportunity to greet everyone who's listening to the revolution, to the navigation. Yeah, we are doing the revolution here. But yes, as a writer, firstly, you go through a lot of challenges. Firstly, when you're writing a book, you have your writer blocks where you just can't write anything at that time, no matter how much you want to finish a book, and you just can't finish it. And it's incomplete, so you can't release it, but you are just blocked for some reason. So those are the first challenges. And then the next thing is also getting your story out there. Like I was shook. I was scared because bearing your heart out like that and exposing yourself and speaking about real life issues is not that easy. You have to expect the backlash. You have to expect people who are going to be supportive to you, and also people who are not. And also some of the challenges I've met as a writer, I think, let me go to the biggest one, Z, the one that actually changed my life. So my book was released in 2018. But then in 2019, towards the end, I think the hype of the book had died down at that point, and I was just, selling it here and there, attending exhibitions, and still talking about it randomly on my social media. So I received a Facebook inbox message where I was approached by a pastor that I knew. I knew personally. Okay. Because the pastor had ministered at a church that I frequented in Durban at the time. So he's somebody that I knew. And he was telling me that he's inviting me to come and launch my book, and also to speak about it in the United States of America, where he has his church now. So for me, that was like a big opportunity. Yeah. It came after I had cried out to the Lord. Like I was praying and I was in tears and I was depressed, saying that, Lord, I feel like I'm stuck again. I thought that I was taking off, with this book, but I can see that now the hype has died down. Like I am just getting calls here and there. Like I'm broke again. I was so depressed. So that opportunity coming right after I had said that prayer seemed like an open, like an answered prayer, but I didn't know that I was actually falling into a trap. That changed my life, literally.
Sure.
So I want us to really get into that one, because that one affected me. I was not in South Africa. I was in the US. I was alone there, and that was when life got real for me. That was when I learned what it means to be put in hot water.
So take us through your time in the US. Here you are now, you are in the US, you're coming to promote your book. So what happened when you got to the US?
Okay, so let me just say this. Let me mention this because I feel like it is important in the story. So when this person approached me, they mentioned that there will be like a conference around Christmas and all of that. So they helped me with everything from the visa applications, everything, in order to get to the point when I get like to the US, the tickets and everything, they bought it. So I never had to buy anything. And also another thing is that during this time, we had started flirting with each other or dating each other over the phone, you know, with this person. So now it was more than just going to the US to promote my book, but also to meet this person who had, you know, well, got my attention and sparked an interest there. So it was more like that. But when I got to the US, the person was different, like not the lovey-dovey person that I was always on the phone with day and night.
Yeah, I want to buy a change.
Like he was different, you know, like now we were going to be happy on his terms. Like when he's in a good mood, then everyone is good. And another thing that I noticed is that my phone was hacked, you know, and that is one thing that made me really uncomfortable. How did I know that my phone was hacked? See, like I would be having a conversation with my sister, explaining to her like what's going on, you know, what I'm not happy about. And then the next thing, the guy is just going to walk into the room and start making comments about that, or ask me when was the last time I spoke to my sister. Like he made these comments
to show that he knows something.
Yes, and it proved that he knew something. So I started now like going into my phone and digging to see if maybe I was missing out on anything. And that is when like I came across that I was hacked. Like my phone, my WhatsApp was visible by location, everything. And I was actually hacked even before I came to the United States. So that shook me, but I had to, you know, keep quiet with these revelations because who was I going to tell? You know, if my phone is hacked, that means I can't tell anyone. I'm stuck. So those were some of the realizations that I was met with that side. And another thing is that this person has a family and kids, you know. So now I felt like I was more like of a maid or of the helper, you know, the kids nanny, because I was just looking after the kids, you know, and like it didn't make sense. Even the conference that I came to come and launch my book at never happened. So now I realized that this has been a trap. Like I have been lied to, but I still had to keep my cool because now there's also like this relationship. So I'm so confused. What is going on? You know, so that was the drama that I was met with that side.
And now tell me, Zu, now you find that you know, the person has changed. Let's put it that way. Person has changed, and now you are the nanny. How did you get yourself out of that whole, you know, negative environment or surrounding that you were in? Minding the fact that you are in a totally different country away from your family members.
I won't lie to you, Z. It took me a while. I felt like I was in a movie planning an escape, you know, and actually not knowing how I'm going to do it. Firstly, everything from my phone number, it was arranged by him to the phone. My phone at the time when I escaped was locked. I didn't even have access to my phone because, I don't know, I'm a misbehaving person. I don't even know what I did, you know, but because when people want to abuse you, when people want to get the upper hand, they know how to manipulate a situation. They know how they play their game. So that guy was very good, you know, at playing his game because he could manipulate everyone. He could actually, like, if maybe I was retaliating to his treatment, he could actually turn the situation around and make me to be the ungrateful person that he brought to the US and arranged a job for, but I'm still not grateful, you know. And people at home are also going to see it from his angle that, you know, Zoo doesn't know what she wants. She left here because like there were no jobs in South Africa and all of that, but now she's that side and she's throwing tantrums. They didn't know that I had to endure being strangled. They didn't know that every time a person tried to call me on Facebook Messenger, a total stranger, I've got almost 5,000 people on my Facebook. I wouldn't know all of them, you know. But if a person tries to call me, more guy will demand to know who is that. And then he's going to go into the phone and see that there are no messages and then accuse me, say, like, oh no, you deleted the messages. And I'm like, but I'm hacked. Don't you have access to my phone? And a knife will be here, you know. So I dealt with all of those things in silence, and I had no one to speak to because my phone was hacked. My phone was locked, it had a password. So I had to start thinking of other ways, you know, of how to get there. So I studied him, studied his schedule. I know what he does, you know. So wherever there was an opening there, I planned my escape, and it actually worked. Sure. So I packed my things, I packed enough, and then I stashed them outside under a tree, and then I waited for the right time. So when he was gone, and he told me that he was going, so we were staying in Arlington, and he was driving to Fort Worth, which is a bit of a distance. It does take maybe up to 30 minutes and more if there's traffic on the way. So I knew that, you know, I had some time. So I just locked the kids in because they were kids. I locked the kids in and I told them, don't open for anyone. Your dad will come home. I'm just going for a jog. And I went. So I had already arranged, you know, with someone, because, you know, what was killing me was not that I was the nanny or whatever. What was killing me is the fact that I was working, but he was keeping my money. He was keeping my card. You know, so I don't even know. Like, I just saw on the statement, because it was sent to my phone, of how much I earned. But I was not enjoying my money. I was in the US. I could have come back, you know, with the best of the best. But no, there was someone else who was chowing my money. And I remember during load shedding, I was making like $900 a week. But I never got to enjoy that money. And my mom would just be sent like 1,600, 2,000, you know. What is that?
Can I ask you something, Zoom? Can I ask you something? Sorry for coming in. Now you've ran away, just due to time. Now you've run away. Now you have contact with your family. Do you notify them of your situation? How do you get yourself back to South Africa?
Okay. Firstly, okay, so when I got there, because he's the one who had arranged the number for me, so he made sure that he went to the service provider and cut the call, so I couldn't make any calls. I only relied on the computer from the shelter I was staying at to actually communicate. So I created a new email, and then created Facebook, and then with a different name, obviously. And then I contacted them, and then I started, you know, talking to them. So yeah, that's how. But I didn't come back right away. I stayed in the US because I didn't want to come back, you know, with my tail between my legs. You know, I didn't want to come back as a failure. I didn't want him to think that he could break me, you know, with everything that was going on, you know, the abuse, you know, the beatings, the insults. I didn't want him to think that he could break me. So I stayed, because being the person that I am at the workplace that I had already, you know, established some healthy relationships with some older people from Congo, you know, others from Nigeria, others from Ghana, old women who really took care of me and who were there for me. Those ones who noticed even the marks on my neck when I was being strangled and all of that. So they took me in, mothered me, and they were there for me. You know, God provides. Sometimes you find yourself in situations that are bad, but I promise you one thing: you are never alone, because that's what I learned. Like there was never a point where I spent time on the road or anything. Like I was taken care of, you know. And I got a job again. I stayed in the US, managed to get my own apartment, you know, still lived, and it was nice until I decided to come back at the end of 2020.
Sure, Zoo. I must be honest. Every time I chat to you, I'm thinking, how did this girl get out of all of this? Sure, this is a lot. When I see you, I see this bubbly person, full of life, you know, happy. And behind all of that, you had to conquer so much. Hey, girl.
I think
Oh my God.
that's where the confidence is even. I think that's where it's coming from, Z. Like I'm at a point where I have overcome so much that I'm really not scared of anything or anyone anymore. And I feel like I've been thrown to the wolves. You see, I've been thrown there and I was alone. You know, when they say you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option you have. Being strong was the only option I had. I was very, like, I was depressed. My life, because when he saw that he couldn't get me back, he had into my social media, into my emails, took over, and then he started posting anything, like defamation that was going on my pages was insane. You know, it was out of this world. He didn't consider that I had family, I had my elders, I have my relatives, I have my kids on my social media. That was not considered. My life was splashed there. So I had to bring myself out of such dark places. And I think that is where, honestly, I get the respect that I have for myself stems from that. If I could overcome being bullied like that, then I can overcome anything.
So what's your
Truly.
message for someone who is encountering, you know, such hardships in their lives? I mean, some people are being abused to this day. There's a lot of gender-based violence, woman to man, man to woman, you know, etc. Man to man, vice versa, women to women. Now, what is your advice for people who might feel like they are trapped in their own space? They feel like they are in their own hell, you know? How can they get themselves back from that hell?
That's it. I'll tell you one thing: self-love. Self-love is your remedy. It is your medication. It is everything. Just love on yourself. Because when you love yourself, you will get to that point where you don't want anyone to do anything that proves that they don't love you. So anything that is not love, you will notice it. You see, anyone who is speaking and shouting at you and insulting you, you will know that like that is not how you treat me, and you remove yourself in such situations. And I think this codependency that happens when we feel like we are dependent on people, maybe it has to stop, because I think sometimes abuse stems from that. If there's a way for you to like build yourself, there's a way for you to actually get your own independence, you know, and not be dependent on other people. I wish that you can actually just stand on your 2 feet and do that for yourself. And another thing I want to say to young people is this: no one is coming to save you, Mdase. No one is coming to get you out of your mess. It is you and good decisions that will help you. It is self-love, and also learning that self-love is not just taking yourself out or popping a bottle of wine for yourself on a Sunday. Self-love also means getting yourself right, getting your life right, making sure that the environment that you are in is conducive for you, it works for you, it's pouring into you, it's making you a good human. Because if not, then you are in a toxic environment. And if you're in a toxic environment, it is your responsibility to get yourself out of that. We need to get to a point where we do not point fingers at other people, but take responsibility for our lives. That is just the message that I have. It is up to you, Mdase, to get you where you want to go. No one else will do it for you. Everyone else is busy trying to save themselves. So get up and save yourself. no matter what it takes, even if it's the last thing that you do.
Wow. Yay. And it's true. Everyone for themselves, ne? Everyone is looking out for number one.
Mdasa,
Hey. And in Jalom,
everyone.
everyone is looking for number one. Mdasa, tell me, where do we get hold of you on social media? Should we want to follow you, get to hear more of, what you have to say? Where do we get you?
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so on Facebook, Zuzeka Nomvalo, that's ZU Nomvalo, and then on Instagram, at writers_GON_right. That's writers gone right. But if you search Zuzeka Nomvalo, you will definitely get me there. And also on Twitter, I am at Zuzeka Nomvalo, and then we can connect from there.
Oh, yay. And if you want to find Zuzeka Nomvalo, our very own Zoo on the navigation, on our social media platforms, do catch her on our YouTube on Wiggle Tunes TV. And you can also catch her on our Twitter handles. It's Wiggle Tunes SA. And on our, I'm actually looking at her beautiful face here. And you can also catch her on our Instagram at WiggleTunes_SA and on our Facebook page as WiggleTunes. Zoo, thank you so much, Sando Sam. We really appreciate the fact that you've availed yourself to come and give us this chat. It is well received and we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zee. I love you and I appreciate everyone who listens to the navigation. Thank you so much for your time.
Love you, my darling. Love you. Till Wednesday. Mwah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.